And welcome back. We are playing the retranslated version of Castlevania Symphony of the Night. And in the last part, we made it through the intro of the game. There we've gotten the materialized cube, which will now allow us to collect hearts and money from the candles that we destroy throughout the castle. Which is going to be our main objective leading up to the first boss fight, the Alchemy Laboratory. You'll also notice the special effects on the fonts. They were original to the Japanese version, but in the American version, maybe because of what they had to do, or because of the quickness that they translated everything, they didn't really get all the special effects in the text. We're going to put on our armor here. They didn't have all of the special effects. This retranslated version has added that back in and given us the full experience in English. A little too close there to that swordsman. Getting our base equipment here. The leather shield will up our defense a little bit. Up our defense to 4. And now we can use the circle key to actually hold that shield up and protect ourselves from projectile. I don't use it that often in my natural style of play, but there are certain bosses and enemies that you should be ready to use that with. Collecting a fair amount of hearts leading up through here. We have a resist thunder. Come up against a lightning enemy, that'll come in handy. These guys spit poison. That acid not only hurts you a fair deal, but can poison you. And in this game, poison doesn't give you damage over time like in many other RPGs. In this one, it causes your accuracy to fail in a way. When you have the purple glow around you from poison, on occasion, like maybe 1 out of every 3 or 4 of your attacks just fails, and it looks like you go to swing, but you cramp up or something like that. Axe armor. Alright, now we're put in a more intimate position with these guys. We should take them out before they sneak up behind us. Oh, better than getting hit with the acid, though. Over here we have another save. We will need that. Should be safe without having to kill those guys. But I do want to take a look on the left over here before we head up. Through this first door, through this top door on the right is our first boss. As we get a little bit farther in the game, I'm not going to remember nearly as much, but I've got the beginning of this game pretty well memorized. Now we have to go down a bit. No problem, though. Alright, we've got our first, mini bosses to contend with. As you can see, they work in tandem. If you could take out one of them, it'll change the behavior of the other. I prefer to take out the ground guy first. It's a little bit easier. Probably hit him with a ton of daggers while he's down here. The daggers are so quick. You can get off quite a few hits. Oh, now. This is one of those times where you'll want to use the shield. You got in over it, hit me in the head, though. Nope. Hit the green guy enough, it'll default. Whoa. Default to him being picked up by his winged friend. But now we're going to get into a fireball fight here. Once he's weakened, he turns red and starts, on occasion, shooting much larger fireballs like that one that just hit me in the back. Should be okay, though. Oh. Should being the operative word. Oh. Lots of woes. a little bit faster than I remember. As is customary with most boss battles in this game, you then pick up a potion that gives you a permanent life max up and then refills your health. Head out the right side of this boss chamber because that's the only option now at this point. The beginning of the game is pretty well guided. You have to go through a set path, but once you start accessing more areas of the castle, there's a little bit more backtracking. They do it well, though. I never really feel like I have to go back through in a tedious way. I always feel like by the time I have to go back through a part of the castle, I'm using different weapons and different attacks that make me feel either more badass now that I'm headed through that area and quickly destroying guys that I had a lot of trouble with before, or I don't know, it just seems different every time, which I can appreciate. The map is very sprawling. Let's see if we can, yeah, this is what we've seen so far. Much like Metroid, lots of places to explore, lots of different wings of the castle, each with their own flavor, their own background music, and their own ways that you have to traverse them, and different styles of gameplay to do so. What we're going to want to do pretty soon is try to find a better weapon. The dagger was alright, the cube that we have now, you have to calculate a little bit better before you try to hit with it. Oh, now. Got a potion out of that globe. Heading down through the bottom here is going to be the best way to go. I think I'll take the cube over the salt. The salt tosses down onto the ground, but isn't very effective against enemies on the ceiling or that fly. Let's check our map here. Let's go ahead and make sure that we uncover this top bit. Got this axe guard. Ah, his axe came back. Alright, yeah, we don't have any other rooms up here, but we've uncovered that bit of the map, which is important. We should almost save it now that I think about it, because there's an interesting bit of armor that you wear while you're exploring, and it can actually become the most powerful armor in the game. We'll take the holy water over the cube. The holy water gives us multiple hits on the ground, unlike the salt, which I think depends on the enemy's movement over it. Anyway, that armor can become the most powerful armor in the game if you wear it while exploring the castle, because its defensive strength goes up as you uncover unknown parts of the map. So essentially, if you don't explore very much before you get it, and then afterward go explore the rest of everything, then it supercharges it. Now, I don't have any particular plan as of this point. Keep saving to new files by accident. They've swapped. This is, like I said, this is essentially the Japanese version, and X and O are swapped. I'm used to hitting X, but O is often the confirmation button in the Japanese versions of games because of the shorthand. The PlayStation controller, triangle, square, X, and O were originally commercial shorthand in Japan. So, and X was essentially none or no, and circle was yes. I don't know why they really swapped. Okay, we're gonna do our first spell here, which is left, right, up, down, attack. In this game, you have to know the spells. Spirit's not gonna get that candle for us now. You have to know the spells in order to perform them the first time, and then they show in the menu. But it's one of those things that it's one of those self-discovery things. They're not all made available to you in the game without you having to either look them up or find them. You can perform them from the very beginning if you happen to remember them as a player, as I remember a couple of them. But later on, when you get to the library where you can purchase items, you can buy scrolls that uncover them for you. damaged. These creepy mannequin ladies. The Soul Orb. Get what that does. Let's take a look. That's the spell that I did. Soul Orb makes damage done to enemies visible. Okay, now we're actually going to have a better idea of how we're doing against the enemies as we level up. Very nice. I think we've reached a max on our hearts. I haven't been watching that. So I'm probably going to slow down on hitting most of these. I'm going to hit the candles as we go, but I'm not going to stop to collect the hearts if we're at max. But we're hitting them for money. Now this is somewhere that the holy water is going to come in handy because of the multiple hits that we can get on this guy. Nice. Sometimes he drops an iron ball, which summons exactly that, an iron ball. It can kill you in almost one hit if you get in its way. But if you're on a stair level, you can just send that iron ball down the stairs and follow shortly behind it. Flame Boomerang, I believe, is one of our one-time use items, so we'll hang on to that in case we come across a particularly tricky villain we have to kill from a distance. Lots of money through this corridor, and these ghosts give us very little experience because they're randomly spawning. And dagger, no, we'll keep the holy water. Holy water is probably going to be my go-to for most of this game. Cthulhu-looking guy here. What's his name? I think we need an item to tell us their name. It's a shame. I always like seeing their names. Get as much money as possible from these candles, though. Let's see what our next area is here. Okay, so we're coming back in. We've already been up to this level, but now we're going to unlock this pathway. The shield potion that gives us a temporary defense up whenever we want to use it. And I don't think we can access anything from up here, can we? Maybe? No. We have to have another ability to get up there. Take out this zombie. Alright, and we're going to save here again for this part. And in our next episode, we'll try to explore more of the castle. See you then.